Welcome to the HFY Tales channel. Remember to like and subscribe if you like the story. Enjoy and take care.
On the vibrant and azure-hued planet of Zephyria, where bioluminescent flora sprawled across the landscape and the sky shimmered with two dominant suns, a tale of love, longing, and societal expectation unfolded. The Grand Palace stood at the heart of the capital, a magnificent structure crafted from shimmering crystal that reflected the radiant colors of the environment. King Varric stared out of the ornate balcony, his eyes scanning the horizon. He possessed an air of majesty, tall and robust, adorned in intricate robes that flowed with the wind. But his bearing was marred by an invisible burden, the weight of his throne. For generations, the lineage of Zephyria relied on the continuity of their royal bloodline, one that birthed strong heirs capable of leading their people. As he surveyed his realm, memories flooded his mind. Laughter shared with his wife, Queen Lyra, during joyous festivals, and the heartbreaking moments of silence where hope flickered as she struggled against her inability to conceive. Lyra was a beauty, a compassionate soul with interstellar charm, but their union remained incomplete, hollowed by an emptiness that festered between them. "Your Majesty," the voice of Rael, his most trusted advisor, broke through the haze of his thoughts. "The council awaits your decision. You must choose whether to seek a new queen." Varric turned sharply, the suggestion stabbing deeper than any blade. "You know my heart remains with Lyra," he replied, his voice taut with emotion. "She has been a loyal partner. But she cannot bear you an heir, my king." Rael pressed, growing more animated. "The longer you wait, the more it jeopardizes not only your succession, but our kingdom's future. There are whispers of alliances with other worlds, humans amongst them, fertile and unknown." The thought of replacing Lyra cut him like a shard of ice, yet the weight of duty loomed larger than his emotions. "I will not abandon her," Varric stated firmly. "I will find another way." As the council convened, his heart sank when he glimpsed Lyra slipping through the palace gardens. She had sensed the tension and the unspoken chasm growing in their relationship. When their eyes met, he saw the flicker of hope that burned brightly, even in the face of despair. In an attempt to maintain the thread of their lives, he joined her beneath the blooming glimmerbloom trees, whose ethereal petals swayed gently in the afternoon breeze. "My love," he began, searching for the right words. "Rael believes I should consider alternatives." Her eyes dimmed, the laughter of days gone by seemingly echoing into oblivion. "Alternatives?" she echoed softly, her voice tinged with sorrow. "You mean to seek another?" Varric reached out to take her hands in his. "Lyra, please. You know my devotion lies with you, but our people need stability, and I am being pushed. It's not what I want, but we cannot ignore their voices." Tears welled in her eyes as she pulled away, pain etched on her features. A king must do what is necessary, even if it means breaking the heart of the one who loves him most. As she turned and walked away, Varric felt the weight of his choice sharpen. Little did he know that the arrival of a new diplomat from another world would soon change everything they knew about love, attachment, and the lengths one would go to for hope. The grand hall of the palace buzzed with excitement and nervous energy as diplomats and representatives from various planets gathered for the Summer Accord, a vital event designed to strengthen interstellar relationships. King Varric prepared himself to address the guests with a sense of duty mixed with an undercurrent of dread. The pressure to keep his thoughts on politics was mounting, especially with Lyra's heart breaking like fine glass every moment he resisted the impending reality. As he stood at the podium, he quickly scanned the crowd filled with a mishmash of alien cultures, draped in vibrant textiles and flowing fabrics. But it was when his gaze landed on the entrance that his breath momentarily stalled. A figure stepped into the hall, an extraordinary woman with fiery hair cascading down her back and brilliant green eyes that sparkled with determination. "Olivia," Varric whispered under his breath, recognizing her immediately. She was the human diplomat sent from Earth, a place he had only heard tales of from afar. Rumors surrounded the humans, resilient, unyielding, and unfathomable in their capacity for emotion. As Olivia progressed into the hall, She exuded a confidence that captured the attention of all. The other attendees varied in their expressions. Some were curious, while others cast wary glances toward the human presence in their midst. Varric felt drawn to her energy, intrigued by the unknown she represented. When he stepped down from the podium to greet the guests, he was intercepted by Lyra, her expression a mask of resolve. "You shouldn't be distracted by her," she said quietly, glancing at Olivia. "She doesn't belong here." "Lyra, she is a guest," Varric responded firmly, sensing the tension between them thickening. "And she represents a powerful alliance we cannot overlook." "I can see the way you look at her," Lyra replied, a hint of bitterness lacing her words. "You mustn't forget your vows." Before he could respond, Olivia reached them, extending her hand in a gesture of diplomacy. "Your Majesties," she acknowledged, her voice clear and confident. "It is an honor to be here and forge new alliances among our worlds." Varric grasped her hand, mesmerized by its warmth as their eyes held for a moment longer than appropriate. "The honor is ours, Olivia. We look forward to your contributions to the accord." "Thank you, Your Majesty," she replied, her voice steady despite the weight of their gazes. "I hope my insights will help us thrive together." As the event unfolded, Varric watched Olivia engage with the various delegates. She spoke passionately, sharing the human perspective on cooperation, and her wit captivated those in attendance. But there was something else, a fire burning in her that resonated deeply within him, sparking an unfamiliar yearning. Days turned into weeks as Olivia remained on Zephyria, immersing herself in the culture and traditions of the planet. Each meeting with Varric felt charged, both exhilarating and confusing. He was fully aware of the boundaries of their worlds, yet drawn to her like a moth to a flame. During one of their private discussions, Varric decided to focus on building a friendship, unaware of how fragile the lines he was treading were about to become. "What do you think of our customs?" he asked, leaning back against the ornate table, eager to engage. "They are fascinating," Olivia replied, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "So different from what I'm used to, though I sense a great deal of pressure underlying it all. You abide by rules that feel incredibly restrictive." Varric sighed, aware of the truth in her words. "The burden of kingship weighs heavy when tradition binds us. I have been compelled to consider my options, especially with my own wife unable to bear offspring. It complicates the path ahead." "I can't imagine the struggle you must feel," Olivia said softly, her gaze intent upon him. "To carry the hopes of an entire kingdom on your shoulders, and to face the prospect of abandoning someone who loves you." At that moment, he felt a connection forging between them, one that swelled with understanding and empathy. "It's a complex situation, one I'm not sure I'm equipped to handle. But here you are, bringing a new light to our world." Days turned into weeks of shared laughter, discussions, and magical moments framed by the alien gardens. Each interaction felt like a melding of two worlds, threatening to blur boundaries that Varric had always taken for granted. As Olivia learned more about Zephyria, she unknowingly stirred feelings within Varric akin to a tempest. He sensed himself falling, yet the specter of Lyra loomed large. Could he ever disappoint her further by pursuing something so forbidden? One fateful evening, Olivia stood in the gardens, illuminated by the bioluminescent flora, breathtakingly beautiful against the dusk. Varric approached quietly, his heart racing in sync with his thoughts. As he drew nearer, she turned, and their eyes met, igniting a spark that sent shivers down his spine. "Why do you look so troubled, Varric?" she asked, tilting her head slightly, concern pouring from her gaze. "I fear losing myself," he admitted. "I cannot help but feel a connection to you, despite knowing the implications." A moment hung thick in the air, as the space between them seemed to pulse with energy. "Our worlds may be different, Varric, but feelings are universal. You deserve to find happiness just as much as any ruler," she whispered. In that instant, Varric knew that the choice laid before him was monumental. The essence of duty clashed against the flames of desire, and he was left suspended between the two. Could he embrace what he felt for Olivia, or would he remain tethered to the past, refusing to let go of what no longer served him. He understood, in that moment, that the winds of change were on the horizon. As the days continued to flow, the uneasy current of unspoken feelings surged between Varric and Olivia. They found themselves trapped in a seductive dance of emotion, a tantalizing push and pull that both invigorated and terrified them. Every stolen glance ignited a burning need within Varric, a desire to breach the chasm between them and explore the depths of their connection. Yet, guilt weighed heavily on his heart. The sun hung low in the sky as Varric and Olivia strolled through the palace gardens, an oasis brimming with exotic, luminescent flora. The evening air hummed with warmth, and Varric found himself captivated not only by the colors of the blossoms, but by the woman walking beside him. It felt as though he had created a realm in which only they existed, free from obligations and scrutiny. "Have you ever felt torn between your duty and your heart?" Olivia asked, her delicate fingers brushing against a vibrant flower's petals. The question hung in the air like ripe fruit, waiting to be plucked. Varric paused, struggling to frame a response. "Every day of my life, Olivia, but my interests are buried beneath the weight of my responsibilities as a king. The expectations are suffocating." Her gaze softened as she turned to face him, the magnetic undercurrent drawing them closer. "You deserve to have both, Varric. Perhaps it's time to break away from tradition and forge your own path." A breeze rustled through the trees, stirring the sweet scent of the glimmerbloom flowers, filling Varric's lungs with the intoxicating aroma of possibility. Olivia's words ignited something primal within him. What if he chose happiness over obligation? What if he rebelled against the rigid customs weighing on his shoulders? He reached for her hand, intertwining their fingers. "The thought is both thrilling and terrifying, Olivia," he admitted, his voice a low whisper. "What if I fail? What if I can't provide for you and our potential offspring?" The warmth of her hand against his sent a tremor through him, and the truth of their desires surged like the tide. "It's not failure if you follow your heart," she replied, her voice steady yet filled with uncertainty. "But if you desire a family, perhaps we can discover a way that honors both your lineage and your love." Their eyes locked. An exploration ensued in their silent exchange, revealing a connection deeper than physical attraction. Varric felt alive, a fire igniting under the surface of his very being. Oliver was not just a diplomatic envoy. She was a catalyst for change, a lighthouse amidst the storm of his internal chaos. As they continued their stroll, the courtyard beckoned, the grand fountain shimmering in the twilight. Varric's mind was racing, but clarity began to form. "There is a mating tradition among my people," he revealed, a mixture of vulnerability and courage threading through his voice. "It is only performed in sacred spaces and binds the souls of those involved." "Sacred spaces?" Olivia echoed, her curiosity piqued. "Is it a ceremony?" "Yes, a ritual that symbolizes unity, fertility, and the intertwining of destinies. It is said to connect partners in ways that transcend the physical realm, but many still view it through the ancestral lens of obligation. Those chosen are expected to achieve offspring, as per societal norms." He inhaled deeply, his resolve solidifying. But perhaps it's more than that. It could be personal and expansive, redefining expectations. Olivia's eyes lit up at his words, excitement bubbling beneath the surface. "Would you consider letting me partake in it with you? If we're going to explore this connection, let's do it genuinely. It could cement our bond and open doors we never imagined." The offer sent shockwaves of exhilaration through Varric. To share such an intimate experience with Olivia was enticing, but it would not be without consequence. The more he delved into these possibilities, the more the impending reality of his situation loomed over him. He could feel Lyra's heartache growing larger as days passed without resolution. "I want that too, Olivia," he said, his voice earnest. "But I must first speak with Lyra. She deserves to know my heart before I bring anyone else into my life." "That is the honorable choice, Varric," Olivia said, her tone sincere. "I believe she will understand that your happiness matters. You need to be true to yourself." With determination blossoming within him, Varric took her hand tighter as they moved towards the palace. The hallway seemed a labyrinth of secrets, echoing with his unspoken thoughts as he approached his private chambers. He thought of Lyra's laughter, their bond, and the love they had shared, but the illusion had shattered, and no longer could he hide from the truth that their union, though noble, had become stagnant. He hesitated before entering, his heart racing at what lay ahead. Lyra was seated at her writing desk, poring over scrolls filled with intricate designs and symbols. When she glanced up and met his gaze, the warmth in her eyes flickered, dimming with the weight of the moment. "Varric," she greeted quietly, her voice steady even as uncertainty painted her features. "You seem troubled. What weighs on your heart?" "Lyra," he began, steeling himself for the painful confrontation. "I have much to say, and it may change everything for us." Her expression hardened slightly, but softened again with love. "Speak your truth. I am here." He recounted his feelings, his fears, and the pull toward Olivia. "I have met someone, Lyra, a human diplomat named Olivia. Our connection, explosive and undeniable. I must confess that I have been considering a different path." As the words hung between them, Lyra's face paled, a myriad of emotions swirling in her eyes. "A human," she whispered. "After everything we've endured, you feel a stronger bond with her." "Please understand," Varric implored, his voice breaking with emotion. "I never meant to cause you pain. You have my heart, but the weight of duty presses heavily upon me. I can't pretend everything is perfect when we both know it isn't." Lyra lowered her gaze, her hands trembling as she processed his words. "I have always known that our union came with its burdens. The stars did not align for us to create a family, and I see that hunger in your eyes, a hunger for something more. Lyra, I will always cherish our memories. You are a part of who I am," he said earnestly. "But I need to be free to pursue my future without guilt." "Then do what you must," she replied, the words laced with sorrowful strength. "If Olivia brings you the happiness you seek, I cannot stand in the way of your heart. It is a sacrifice I must accept." Varric's heart ached, torn between gratitude and sorrow. "I hope one day you can find your own happiness, too." "I have faith that I will," she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. "I wish you both a future filled with the joy you deserve." With heavy hearts, they shared a bittersweet embrace, both retreating into a world of shared memories before venturing towards unknown futures. As Varric rejoined Olivia later that evening, the anticipation of a new journey shimmered in the air around them, fraught with promise, yet tinged with the remnants of loss. They stood on the cusp of something powerful. The currents of their love began to swell, united against the shackles of tradition. Soon, the stars would bear witness to their union, a journey towards love that transcended boundaries, full of exploration, passion, and the hope of creating a kinship that would redefine their worlds. The evening air buzzed with an electric excitement that thrummed through Varric's veins as he and Olivia prepared for the sacred mating ritual. Illuminated by the ethereal glow of bioluminescent flora, the sacred space lay nestled within Zephyria's ancient tree grove, a secluded area where the wise elders had performed similar ceremonies for centuries. The ground was layered with soft moss, and the air resonated with the melodic chirps of night creatures. In the heart of the grove stood a crystal altar, surrounded by vibrant blossoms that caught the light, infusing the environment with colors reminiscent of the universe's tapestry. Tonight, their destinies would intertwine, forever altering the course of their lives. Varric exchanged nervous glances with Olivia. They had spent the past few days discussing the ritual's implications and the bond they sought to create. It was both thrilling and terrifying, a leap into the unknown where every desire pressed against the constraints of tradition. "Are you ready?" he asked, grasping her hands in his as the moonlight cascaded down, wrapping them in its glow. "As ready as I'll ever be," Olivia replied, the nervous excitement shimmering in her eyes. "This is a chance to declare our intentions to each other and to the cosmos. I'm grateful to share it with you." Gazing into her verdant depths, Varric felt the stirrings of love wash over him. There was no turning back now. With a nod, he led her towards the altar, where figures draped in ceremonial robes awaited them, elders who revered the ancient ways of their civilization. The lead elder, a wizened figure adorned with vibrant tribal markings, stepped forward. "Welcome, King Varric and Diplomat Olivia. Tonight, we gather to witness the essence of love that transcends the confines of duty. May the symbols of unity guide you in this sacred bond." As rituals commenced, Olivia felt a mix of awe and reverence wash over her. The elder's voice carried weight, each word resonating like music as they called upon the celestial guardians to bless their union. Varric stood tall beside her, a pillar of strength, and together they positioned themselves before the altar, heartbeats synchronized in harmony. "First," the elder announced, "we acknowledge the past, the ties of blood and lineage forged through the years, for it is the foundation upon which new paths can arise." They stood before the altar, holding hands, and each took a small candle from a nearby pedestal. Varric lit his, representing his royal lineage and the weight of responsibility he bore. Olivia followed suit, her flame symbolizing the vibrancy and resilience of humanity. Together, they brought their candles to the center, merging the flames into a unified light. "Now, you shall share the essence of your vows," the elder instructed, gesturing for them to speak. Varric felt the words bubbling within him, honesty bursting forth as he focused on Olivia's radiant presence. "Olivia, from the moment you entered my world, you illuminated my path. You pulled me from the shadows of obligation and taught me about true connection. I promise to honor you, to explore the depths of our bond, and to cherish every moment we share." Tears glimmered in Olivia's eyes as she responded with tender sincerity. "Varric, you've shown me a love I never dreamed possible. You've broken down the walls of my heart and filled it with hope. I promise to stand by you, to share both the joys and sorrows of life, and to create a legacy forged in unity." As their promises mingled with the air, the elder continued, "With these vows, you take one step closer to binding your destinies like the threads of the universe." Then, in silence, the elder unfurled a small vessel filled with shimmering dust, a rare substance said to contain the essence of the stars. They sprinkled it across the altar, its glimmer evoking the feeling of the cosmos smiling down upon them. "We shall now share the sacred drink," the elder intoned, producing a vessel of swirling colors from deep in the grove. Each of them took turns sipping the nectar, an ancient concoction known to heighten emotions and bind souls. The sweet, intoxicating flavor sent shivers down Olivia's spine, igniting a warm tide of trust and connection between them. With every sip, the energy surged and pulsed, setting their hearts ablaze as they entered a heightened state of awareness. Could this be the moment their souls truly blended? "Now step forward and place your foreheads together," the elder instructed, leading them to the next phase of the ritual. They followed suit, their breaths mingling and hearts racing as electric sparks ignited where their skin touched. As the world around them faded, it felt like they were floating in the depths of the cosmos, disconnected from reality, yet profoundly connected to each other. "Let your energies intertwine, and may you be illuminated by the essence of devotion," the elder murmured, coaxing their intertwining spirits. "In this sacred space, feel what binds you, let it flow." With closed eyes, Varric felt the world around them dissolve into an ethereal haze. He was lost within the depths of Olivia's being, her warmth pulling him closer as waves of emotions washed over them. They exchanged whispers of laughter and longing while exploring the uncharted territories of their hearts. In that moment, they were no longer king and diplomat, but two souls finding refuge in the splendor of each other's being. Free from the judgments of tradition, they were free to feel their desires bloom unabashedly. It was an invitation to transition into an unyielding bond. As the ritual drew to a close, the elder raised their hands high, encircling Varric and Olivia in a halo formed by the energy swirling around them. "With the power of the cosmos as your witness, you are now united in heart and spirit. This bond shall transcend all boundaries and create new beginnings." The air pulsed with energy, reverberating through the grove as the light enveloped them. Varric felt a rush of exhilaration as the two flames became one, their destinies braided together like the roots of ancient trees beneath their feet. As the light faded, Varric and Olivia opened their eyes, their breaths heavy yet gentle as they faced the world anew. They shared a knowing smile, a silent agreement that they were ready to embark on this journey together, no matter what challenges would await them. Hand in hand, they exited the grove, ready to face not only the galaxy's expectations, but the possibilities that flourished in the afterglow of their sacred night together. The days following the ritual were filled with a heightened sense of purpose and exhilaration. Varric and Olivia explored both their evolving relationship and the deepening bond formed during the sacred ceremony. Each encounter they shared felt like a dance, a rhythm that intertwined their souls deeper into the fabric of each other's lives. Varric found solace in Olivia's laughter, which echoed through the palace halls, a melody that reverberated with hope. In private moments, they would steal away to the garden, where the luminescent flowers acted as their witnesses, enfolding them in a vibrancy that matched their growing passion. One evening, as the suns dipped below the horizon, casting a soft glow over the landscape, Olivia turned to Varric, her gaze filled with warmth and curiosity. The mating ritual was more profound than I could have ever anticipated. It felt like we were woven together by fate. Varric took her hand, squeezing it gently. It was a binding of our souls, an acknowledgement of desire, love, and connection. But what follows holds even greater significance. What do you mean? Olivia asked, her brow furrowing in thought. There's a sacred element to physical union. During our ritual, we open pathways to that intimacy, and now it's time to explore the more profound aspects of our bond. He stepped closer, his intent gaze locking onto hers, sparking an electric tension that hung heavily in the air. Olivia's heart raced, excitement coursing through her. You mean to mate? To share that part of ourselves? To consummate our bond, yes. In Zephyrian culture, this union solidifies our connection. It is the ultimate expression of trust and love between partners. The gravity of his words weighed slightly on his mind, for he knew such intimacy could reshape everything they'd built. Then let us do it, she replied firmly, passion igniting in her spirit. Let us embrace all that we are to each other. Underneath the boughs of ancient trees, they found solace, a sanctuary where the universe could carry their secrets. Varric led Olivia to a secluded area filled with soft moss, a perfect tapestry of nature that beckoned to them. As they settled, he traced her cheek with his thumb, his heart swelling. Remember, this is an exploration, a journey of trust. We shall move at our own pace. Their breaths mingled as they leaned closer, their foreheads touching gently, eyes locked in a silent exchange of love and readiness. With each heartbeat, anticipation throbbed through them, igniting a desire more profound than either could articulate. Varric drew back, his hands caressing Olivia's waist, feeling the warmth radiating from her body. Every inch of her was an invitation, a canvas waiting to be painted with the colors of their passion. He placed gentle kisses along her collarbone, marveling at the softness of her skin beneath his lips. Olivia sighed softly, her body responding naturally to his touch. This feels magical, she breathed, losing herself in the sensation of his warmth against her. With every kiss, every caress, they surrendered to the rising tide of desire. Varric's hands traveled over the curve of her hips, teasing along the edge of her clothing. He leaned back to meet her gaze, ensuring every movement communicated his devotion. Are you sure? He asked, his voice a whisper that held the promise of forever. More than ever, she replied, determination sparking in her eyes. With a gentle tug, Varric began to unfasten the delicate fabric of her attire, revealing her skin bathed in the soft glow of moonlight. The sight took his breath away, a radiant vision of human beauty that stoked the fire within him. Each layer that fell away dissolved the walls of fear, replacing them with raw excitement. As they explored each other, Olivia's fingers traced over the defined contours of Varric's chest, marveling at the differences that bound them yet drew them closer. The elegance of his figure complemented the softness of her form, illustrating the beauty of their connection. Your skin, it's so warm, Olivia murmured, her hands moving purposefully over his back, feeling the strength hidden just beneath the surface. I could say the same about you, he replied, his voice thick with desire. You're exquisite. With her body arching against his, Varric captured her lips in a deep, searing kiss, opening the floodgates to the passion that lurked beneath the surface. Their bodies pressed together, heat radiating as the world around them faded into oblivion. As they lost themselves in each other, every brush, every kiss felt like an affirmation of the bond they had forged. Their movements became a blend of fluid grace and intense yearning, testing the limits of their shared connection. Each sigh, each breath, drew them together until they were nothing but bodies moving in harmony. Moments blurred into an eternity as they navigated the landscape of their newfound intimacy, a powerful connection binding them in a way that transcended the physical realm. Varric felt the warmth of Olivia's body pulse through him, his heart racing as sensations surged like waves crashing against a shore. Finally, he positioned himself above her, his gaze darkening with desire. You truly are beautiful, Olivia, he whispered, his voice low and reverent. It is an honor to share this moment with you. The world around them dissolved into a haze as he slipped inside her, intoxicating sensations flooding every inch of their beings. Olivia gasped, her breath hitching as completeness enveloped her. Varric matched her movements, their rhythm synchronizing, a dance that echoed the harmony of their spirits. What we share now binds us forever, he murmured, their eyes locked in a dance of vulnerability. The pulsations of connection deepened as they surrendered to the depths of their mutual desire. Varric guided her, attuning to each ripple of pleasure that cascaded through her body, his devotion manifesting in tender movements that illustrated the intensity of their bond. With lust and love entwined, they reached new peaks of pleasure, the world outside ceasing to exist. Time stood still, and as waves of ecstasy rocked them, they felt the barriers of distinction fall away. Their beings fused, illuminating the rekindled fire that sparkled between their souls. When they finally reached the climax of their shared experience, it was not just a physical consummation, it was a binding of destinies. They gasped in unison, the energy of the cosmos swirling around their entwined bodies, and for that singular moment, the universe bore witness to a love that defied convention and surpassed all expectations. With their breaths mingling in the aftermath, Varric cradled Olivia in his arms, basking in the warmth of their intimacy. He traced his fingers along her hair, gratitude swelling in his heart. We have created a bond that will change everything. You are my mate, my partner in this cosmic dance. Olivia smiled, feeling a warmth radiate through her. And you are mine, Varric. Together, we'll forge a new legacy, one that intertwines our worlds without fear. As they lay beneath the starlit sky, Varric could feel the weight of the past lifting, replaced by a certainty that coursed through him. In Olivia, he had discovered not only a lover, but a creator of new paths, a collaborator in dreams that extended beyond the horizon of Zephyria. The future lay before them, vast and uncharted, illuminated by the love they would nurture and the legacy they would build together. With their hearts united in ways that transcended the traditional, they knew that together, they would cause ripples across galaxies, forging bonds that would unite their worlds. In that tranquil embrace under the stars, Varric and Olivia began to dream of families forged through love, alliances built on trust, and a destiny that belonged to both the king of Zephyria and his human mate.